Weencast, a Ween podcast with Shane and Rory.
Hey, what's up? This is Shane.
And this is Rory.
And this is Weencast. And it feels so good to be back.
Hells yes. Hells bells.
Hell's bells, bitches. We're back. All right. And so it is summer. I hope your summer is in full effect. Anyone that's listening out there. And we want to introduce our third annual summer contest.
Yes. Hot time, summer in the city. Back of my neck is dirty and gritty. I had to get that out, sorry. It's summertime.
No.
It's hot. It was fucking 100 degrees today.
Summer, summer, summertime. Okay. So this summer, the 2022 Weencast Summer of Lovin' Favorite Album Fan Contest.
Yes.
We are asking everyone out there, tell us what your favorite Ween album is and why.
Easy peasy. Or maybe not so easy peasy. Mwahaha.
You know what? That's true. It's not necessarily an easy question. I think a lot of hardcore Ween fans have a lot of different debates about what their favorite album is, but here's the deal, man. Enter in the contest and you have to pick one and why.
We have an episode long time ago at this point where we talk about our favorite albums.
Mm-hmm.
But if memory serves me correct, Shane, we never actually announce a number one.
Right.
We say like top three. There's sort of like a tie. I don't want to say any of them now because I don't want to prejudice anyone, their answers.
I think this would be a good contest. If you've got a friend out there who maybe isn't as big of a Ween head as you, get them involved. If you know someone that just is into like one album specifically, hey, they're free to join. You know what I mean? We want to hear their story too. You don't have to be a huge Ween head. If you've got a buddy out there who just loves white pepper or just loves chocolate and cheese or whatever it is, get them involved too.
Yeah, dude.
So we want to hear from as many different people as possible.
It's not at all about which album you choose. It's all about your reason why and your story and how you tell it.
Yeah, man.
So that's the bee's knees. Go ahead and drop us a message on Anchor, anchor.fm/Weencast. And if it cuts you off, then just go ahead and start a second message and we'll put them together. We're pretty bright over here. Or send us an audio file to Facebook or to our Gmail, which is weencastpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, man. So we are going to say you have until the actual last day of summer, which is September 22nd.
Yeah.
But you got plenty of time, and you know what? You won't just win bragging rights. You will win an actual prize.
Yeah, so we got an awesome new prize coming from West Brandywine Woodworks, and they're going to be doing another sort of Boognish related woodwork.
We'll spread some pics around from the prize that he made from last year, but it was a set of Boognish coasters, and the pictures were just seriously fucking fat, man. So this is definitely a prize you're going to want to have.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, dude, I'm super psyched. I know he's super psyched.
So join in the contest. It's all about just having fun, telling us your story about your favorite Ween album. You know what I mean? And like I said, get your friends involved. They don't have to be big Ween heads, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, dude. So anyway, everyone, again, September 22nd, get us an audio file, all the different ways. You know how to do it. Or drop us a message on anchor.fm. Nothing to it.
If you need any help, hit us up.
Yeah. Much love. Muchas gracias.
What's up, Ween heads? It's Travis here from West Brandywine Woodworks, and we are back again for the 2022 Weencast Summer of Lovin' Favorite Album Fan Contest. This year, we would like to offer free nationwide shipping on all kitchenware orders over $50. This includes coasters, cutting boards, utensils, and more. Along with kitchenware, we offer custom builds for almost anything you can dream up. From modern chic to rustic appeal, we've got you covered. So if you're looking to spice up your kitchen or living space with custom handcrafted high-quality wooden items, let us know. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at West Brandywine Woodworks, and feel free to reach out for info and estimates. Boognish lives!
All right, so let's get down to our episode here. So we are going to be talking about the Atlantic City shows. So the first one is June 10th, 2022.
Yes.
The Borgata Event Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So why don't we jump right in, because you actually went to both of them. So this is one that the first night was one that you were at and I was not.
Yeah, so I'm down in Virginia, and when the tickets were, when the show was first announced, I don't live in the Philadelphia area anymore, but that's like where I'm from. So anytime there's a show that's like in that area, and also they haven't played anywhere close to Central Virginia in like a long time. Well, they played one reunion show in Charlottesville, but other than that, it's been a long time. So anytime I see a show in the Philly area, I'm just like, oh my God, I got to go. Like this is my opportunity to go to Ween. But Amy and I had just gone to see 2 shows at the Philly Met in December. And she's kind of like, hey man, money's tight, and we have all these other plans for the summer. Long story short, I had to basically cancel other plans. And then also, she decided she would not go to the shows. So I went to the shows by myself. And then the other caveat is that then it would also turn into a long weekend family vacation in Atlantic City.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so we had got an Airbnb in Brigantine Beach, just north of Atlantic City, for 3 nights. And that was cool. So then I got to spend the whole, we didn't have to rush. It's not like we got in and we're like, I rushed right off to the show. I had a whole evening to chill out with my family in Brigantine and go to the beach and walk around and stuff. We walked around Atlantic City Boardwalk and stuff. My kids loved riding the tram because it was like an amusement park ride. So we basically just rode that up and down the boardwalk, and they loved that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
And then we ate at and this is so like tourist generic, but we ate at Rainforest Cafe.
Hey man, it's fun. It's fun for the kids.
Dude, I think like every half hour or something, like the thunderstorm goes off in there. So there's kids crying and stuff. It's pretty cool.
There's kids crying.
Yeah, dude. And when my kids heard it, they're all like looking around, like what's going on, and like the lights get dark and the roof lights up like stars, like after the thunderstorm leaves.
I can just picture my kids being in there and just asking me like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening?
Oh, dude, and there's like set pieces throughout the restaurant. Have you been to one?
I've been to them, but I don't think I've actually eaten in one. Like I've been, through a casino or two that had one and be Rainforest Cafe, cool. But I've never actually sat down and ate.
Well, anyway, dude, inside it's like you're in a jungle, and there are set pieces that have like gorillas or elephants that will like move.
Yeah.
And, and there's like the hidden temple, like with the glowing eyes, And so that was all cool. What was really sweet is that parking I'm like an ad for the Borgata, but parking at the Borgata was piece of cake.
Yeah, man.
It was piece of cake, and it's $5 for like the whole day.
Yeah. That's
pretty cool that they're not trying to kill you with the parking cost.
Yeah, because they certainly could.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating thing, like in Philly or something, for example, trying to park all day at a public parking lot or whatever, or a private parking lot, you end up paying a lot more than that. It was at the Borgata Event Center, which is like basically from the parking, you have to walk through the casino to get to the event center. But the first thing that threw me off is that I had to get my will call tickets. The will call is kind of like on a different like area of the casino, because it's sort of like a ticket center will call for like all the various venues they have. And I guess I never had been to Borgata before, and now I appreciate how big it is, I guess, and how much crazy stuff they have going on.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, dude. And then, the interesting thing is the event center is just this gigantic open space, basically.
Yeah.
And the one thing that contrasts night one from night one, like basically down the middle, there was a huge curtain that like split this giant space in half. In sort of the middle of the center, there was like kind of like, I think the audio control like center,
Mm-hmm.
where like all that kind of like, stuff and the special effects and stuff are like sort of managed, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
Like the station. And station. Oh, dude, what movie's that from?
Oh, man.
Station.
I don't know, dude.
Oh, come on, dude.
It sounds very familiar, but...
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh, dude. I was going to say, it's going to kill me when you tell me, but I can't come up with that right now.
And then, the beverages and everything were on the other side of the curtain, kind of. So, like, it was interesting. I was there early, so I was just kind of chilling and sitting on the floor by the curtain. But it was never that packed. So I'm not sure I think that venue in total holds a few thousand people. But I don't even think that there was 1,000 people there. I don't know. But it definitely didn't feel like, it was never like packed in. And I took my spot maybe like 20 feet off the giant left speaker, like that big speaker stack.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 30 feet, whatever, something like that. And I had tons of space. There was like more than elbow room. Everyone had like dancing space.
You're on the left side, a.k.a. Glen side, Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, and that was cool. I mean, I don't need it to be packed to like fulfill my gratification for Ween, I guess. And it was still a lot of people. I was wondering a little bit if it was like the appropriate size venue. Nevertheless, this sounded great. And it's always good to have like space,
Yeah.
So it was a pretty sweet setup for sure.
Now, see, I wonder why they had the curtain up, though.
Yeah, because the second night they took the curtain down.
Right.
And that was nice because then you could watch, if you were in a long line for like a drink, you could still watch the show. Whereas with the curtain up, you can still hear the show, but you can't see it.
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe just judging on the size of the crowd and just what kind of crowd it is, maybe they put the curtain up just to keep like the lines like in order. And there isn't, like if the crowd is too big, they need the curtain there because it's like, don't go beyond the curtain, if you're going to get in line for, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like you're either on one side or you're on the other kind of thing.
I was wondering if there were a lot more people there the second night and it kind of filled up that space more. Cause I feel like it seemed like there wasn't that. Maybe I'm wrong and someone can correct me, but it felt like the first night it was mostly people just in the front side of that curtain and it wasn't even filled all the way up.
It's a good question. I mean, you are talking about a Friday versus a Saturday, so maybe that was part of it. Like, okay, we know that there's going to be a lot more people here on Saturdays, so we just can't have the curtain because there's not going to be enough room if we don't take that down. I don't know. That's interesting.
And I know that there was a crap ton of tickets sold as both nights together, but they also had single night tickets. Whatever they'll sell them, whatever.
Right.
Anyway, dude.
Well, let's get to the music, man.
You want to read the set list?
Yeah, man, I'd love to. Okay. Take Me Away, Captain Fantasy, Object, With My Own Bare Hands, Get a Little Taste of You, Pork Roll, Egg and Cheese, Now I'm Freaking Out, The Argus, Touch My Tutor, Papa Zit, Gabrielle, I'll Be Your Johnny on the Spot, Japanese Cowboy, I Don't Want to Leave You on the Farm, Chocolate Town, Hey There Fancy Pants, Tried and True, I'll Miss You, Voodoo Lady, Bumblebee, Exactly Where I'm At, Mutilated Lips, The Golden Eel, The Rift, Ocean Man, Puerto Rican Power, Fat Lenny, Sucking Blood from the Devil's Dick, Big Jim, Laura, Demon Sweat, Tick, Boys Club, Even If You Don't, and then for the encore, Tender Situation.
Nice. Dude, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, man. Now, again, I wasn't at this night, but you know, just a lot of gems, like, in general. And the thing that kind of jumps out at me when I'm reading the set list and when I listen to the show is a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily in, like, the right order as to, like, where it should be. And same thing with night 2. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we talk about the second night, but just things that are like, oh, normally that would be like towards the end of the night, or, but just the set list is just all over. It's just a great, varied set list, just here, there, everywhere. I love it.
This is probably the greatest set list of any show I've ever seen. Maybe the greatest set list of any Ween show ever. I mean, you just look at this and how many rare, and it's just amazing. First off, that was long, 35 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. And the show actually clocks in at 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, dude.
That doesn't include 4 minutes of waiting for the encore, so 2 hours and 50 minutes if you include that.
So, I mean, you're talking like this is almost as long as like the shows from like back in the real heyday,
Yes.
of like 3 hours or almost 3 hours. Like,
yeah,
that's
dude.
a
I mean,
fucking
this is
long
right up
show.
there. Like, it's a long show. And the second night is also a long show, but not quite. It's a little bit shorter.
Okay. So let's dive in, man.
So first off, it starts out pretty cool because they do like a lounge intro for Take Me Away.
So great.
Diener's out front, and he's basically just like,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. I'm Dean Ween of the band Ween. Tonight, Live Nation, in association with Brown Dog Productions, is pleased to give you on drums, Claude Coleman Jr. On keyboards, Mr. Glenn McClellan. Dave Drywitz on the bass. This time we'd like to bring out Papa Gene Ween.
So that's a pretty sweet opening for an otherwise, pretty common song.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever heard it with a lounge intro. I don't know if
Yeah.
that kind of stat is kept on brown bass, but I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
I don't know if that's ever happened before, but that's really cool.
Yeah, dude.
Another
early great one is Get a Little Taste of You.
Oh my God, Z-Rock.
Yeah, dude. No, and that brings up one of the great aspects of this show is that the content of this show comes from the whole variety, the whole gamut of all the albums and practically all the other like EPs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, dude, to have Z-Rock represented is always cool. Diener has a pretty cool solo in that. Another great track is Now I'm Freaking Out.
That's a great one.
Which has an awesome solo. Dude, a lot of these songs have great Diener solos. That's something else I've been reflecting on. Since the reunion, I feel like these shows are really Diener focused. But he's just like shreds a solo on like every song. And they're all different.
Yeah, man. I mean, Diener can definitely carry the show. He always could, and he still can. He's still got it. He's still on fire,
Mm-hmm. Before Now I'm Freaking Out, Diener's like shouting out all these New Jersey counties. Is Ocean County in the house? Ocean County, Cape May County, Hunterdon, Camden County, right here. It's great. There's a lot of good banter for both nights, which is indicative of, I think, how much fun they're having. And
yeah,
at one point, Diener even says like, "Oh, this is like coming home."
Yeah, man.
Close enough, he says. Because they're New Hope. It's Pennsylvania, right by Jersey.
Right.
So Atlantic City's close, and so they're just having fun. In Atlantic City, it's a casino, and Atlantic City's got a seedy history, so there's a lot of ridiculous shit that comes up that we'll get to as we go through the show. Of like Atlantic City bringing out the ridiculousness,
But you can tell him just listing off the counties. It's like, that he's from fucking Jersey when he's, when he's naming the counties. It's like, no one does that if they're not from there. I mean, come on.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's fucking cool as hell.
Yeah. They do the Argus, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and that's a good example of what I'm talking about because I remember, listening to the show as it was happening and checking in on the set list. And when Argus came up, I'm like, already? It's like, what? It's like, because usually that's something that would be like at the end of the night. You know what I mean?
That's true. And it's just sort of peppered in there.
Yeah.
Relatively close to the beginning.
Yeah. It's like, damn, that's early for an Argus, but I'll take it.
And, already these other two rare songs, like in a more typical Ween show, the Argus would be one of the rarest songs of the night.
That's true.
But there's like a dozen songs at this show that are played like less frequently. Not that it's a rarity, but I'll Be Your Johnny on the Spot.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty fucking awesome. That's one that I realized that's been like I don't know, it's under the radar, but it's totally a song that's like frequently jammed the hell out.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is pretty much like the first jam of the night. And
yeah, dude.
A really fucking sweet rendition of it. That was definitely, as I was listening to it, I think I picked up on it immediately. It's like, oh yeah, this is fucking sweet.
Yeah, and Diener, it's like he's on speed or something. He's just shredding, man. It's like,
yeah,
just speed metal. It's funny because in the middle of it, Diener goes to Glenn. He shouts over to him. He's like, "Give me some of that New Jersey shit." And Glenn starts doing a little like solo in there. And he's like, "Take me off to space." It's getting a little spacey.
Yeah.
And then Glenn ends it with some of his sirens and bombs or like kind of in the background.
Yeah.
And then pair of back-to-back Golden Country greats.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
You get some good Golden Country great coverage for both of these nights, and that's pretty cool. You definitely get a little bit more of some of these albums and whatnot that you don't normally get all that much of. Like both of these songs are usually Golden Country greats. It's like you can count on Piss Up a Rope and then maybe Mr. Richard Smoker. Am I right?
They've definitely brought a lot of these back since the reunion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
true.
It's almost like, they could play anything from the country record in this day and age.
Which is great,
man. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so Japanese Cowboy is pretty sweet. And then I Don't Want to Leave You on the Farm.
Hell yeah.
Which is really cool. But it's funny, there's after I Don't Want to Leave You on the Farm, Diener's just doing some noodling just to fuck around, and it's pretty good.
Totally sweet.
You got Aaron on the acoustic for Chocolate Town, Fancy Pants, Tried and True, and I'll Miss You.
That's fucking sweet, dude.
So that's nice.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
And I want to say one of the positive elements that I've seen especially recently, I think post-pandemic, but maybe also just the reunion in general, but definitely Aaron is taking his guitar to the next level.
Well, you know what? Maybe like a lot of people, he was probably like, what can I do? Play some practice my guitar. I mean, would make complete sense if he was working on his guitar work during the pandemic.
I just feel like that he's way more involved in lead guitar, like solo work and whatnot.
Yeah,
than
you're spot on.
In the band back in the day.
You're totally right on.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be disparaging or anything, but I would say the guitar work was getting a little sloppy on Aaron's end. Sorry. He doesn't need to be, on fire, but he is, so it's all good. He's tight as shit now, Yeah. It's great.
You got a few really rare tunes. Hey There, Fancy Pants. This is the first time I ever heard this live.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, I guess it is kind of one from Quebec that I think they played when it was brand new and just played it here and there, and that's it.
Yeah, here and there. The last time they played it was 2018. This is the first time I ever heard it live.
Yeah.
And then I'll Miss You, which is another real rarity. What's that, 10 times?
I think Penn's Landing, they played it.
Yeah,
now that's 2016. So, that's when they first came back is the last time that we saw it, I think.
That's a good tune because one of the things that I sometimes think about with some of these new rarities that they're breaking out, like the super rare shit where they're like, oh, it hasn't been played in 30 years. A lot of them are like the sort of raunchy, heavy metal, like, sort of in your face, like Diener tracks. And this is an example of one that's not like that, so it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the ones that they're like bringing back, I Was Nothing, right? Like,
right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a terrible tune, but it's like, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'll Miss You is a really nice song.
Yeah, it's really pretty. And it's kind of one of those ones that never really got its due, back in the day. Was it like from the Beautiful Girls soundtrack or something? I can't remember exactly where it was, where it originated from, but, it was always just sort of one of those B-sides,
Yeah.
So good song. I'm glad to see it, get some play.
Yeah. One of the few commons that night, Voodoo Lady, is shredded, of course. But that's
great
old
rendition.
news. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a song that you can count on them to just shred. I'd like to see them mix it up and do it a little differently. Because it's getting a little bit like, it's the same Voodoo Lady every time.
Get some more like solos in there or something, like maybe like a Dave solo.
Yeah, dude, get Dave some more action. They haven't been, I don't think they've been spreading the love around as much. I feel like Glenn gets a lot of love. He's always being asked to tickle a little here and there. There's only 4 songs that are like pretty commonly played, and Voodoo Lady is one of them. It's interesting because this night, not only do you have so many rarities, but even the songs that aren't rare are mostly uncommon.
Yeah, man.
I mean, they're like left and right, just like, we're just kind of sprinkling in the highlights here. But man, left and right, dude, they're just playing a lot of great tunes.
Yeah, it's cool.
Tunes. Like some of the other tunes we haven't really said anything about. Bumblebee.
Yeah, man.
This one hadn't been played since 2001. So this is really got to be the highlight, or one of the absolute highlights of the night, because first off, it's only played 12 times total, and it hadn't been played in over 20 years.
So the last time that this was played was the show at John and Peter's that was recorded for the God Ween Satan Live.
Oh, nice.
I was just looking at this on Brown Base, and I'm like, you know what? If it was 2001, I bet it was that show. So some of those God Ween Satan tracks may have been the last time that they were played. So that's one of them. So that's pretty nuts.
So that is definitely, and at the end we'll talk more about the absolute highlights. But this is one of them. In fact, you know what's funny? I'm looking right now at Bumblebee. And it was played in 2022. Then it was played 21 years ago in 2001. And then it was played 1993 4 times, 1992 2 times, 91 3 times, and 1990.
So now you're getting a little spotty there, because it's like, now we know there are some shows from back in those, really old days that probably aren't on Brown Base. But, Rory and I were talking about this. You got to go with what's on Brown Base.
Yeah. I mean, when in doubt, go with what's on Brown Base. The point here is that
it's really rare.
It's really rare, and I mean, all but 2 of the song, the times it's played is like way back in the old school era.
Right. That's nuts, man.
Now, my honest opinion of the song is, I mean, it's not my favorite.
Well,
I think of it as the poor man's Tick.
That's good shit.
It's like
That's
2
good
different
shit.
bugs. One's an
That's good
arachnid,
shit,
though. Make no mistake, ticks have 8 legs.
Well, I mean, you have those people out there that are, crazy God Ween Satan heads. You know what I mean? I love the fucking album. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's my favorite, Ween record, but I'm sure that there are people that just love that album to death, that anything from that is, like gold.
Yeah.
So just to hear one of those again, even though it's, the stuff from that era is, a little bit more on the simple side, whatever, just that simple, like, rock shit. But it's fun, and just to see one that's just so rare like that, it's like, whoa, still really cool.
Well, and I believe it was first on Bold as Boognish, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, so even before
back.
God, we'd say, yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
And then Golden Eel is a really awesome rendition. The whole end is like this crazy, like, jamming out the end, and I describe it as launching into space, and it's all like thunderous, and it's like so epic, like Diener's solo, and then like Glenn's laying in like all sorts of whack shit.
Yeah, well, they got to get some Mollusk tunes in there for Atlantic City. You're right by the beach.
That's funny. I think they did 4 songs from the Mollusk, if I'm not mistaken.
For that night, I think, yeah.
And then now it comes to one of the other absolute highlights of the evening, dude. The Rift.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit. So first off, they bring out our good friend, the Reverend B. Ill. All right, and that's actually what Diener says, too. We'd like to bring out a special guest, our good friend, the Reverend B. Ill, Bill Fowler. And then he starts getting everyone to say, Billy, Billy. Look, everybody, everyone, Billy.
We'd like to bring out a special guest. Rare occurrence. Our good friend, the Reverend B. Ill, Bill Fowler. Billy! It's Billy! Look, everybody!
So that's fucking hilarious.
That's so great. Talk about your New Jersey shit. You know what I mean? Fucking Bill Fowler, who we did interview a few years ago. And he was so
he's a friend
nice
of the podcast.
to us.
He's awesome.
Yeah, man. He was so nice to us, and check out the interview that we did with him because it's a lot of fun. But I mean, you want to talk about some deep space shit here, man.
Yeah, dude.
The
Rift
Rift
was awesome.
Yeah. If you're into that spacey, slow jam, it's a great jam. I want to say clocks in at what, like 9 minutes or something like that? 8+, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And that's another rarity as well. I didn't realize how rare it was.
I didn't either for some reason, but it's only been played 6 times.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
And you know what? And the other cool thing that I discovered is that, as far as I know anyway, according to Brown Bass again, all hail Brown Bass, this is the only time that Be Ill played on this live.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, I wonder what put Bill in on this song, because I think normally it's Polka Dot Tail, if I'm not mistaken, is like the token like one that he usually comes on for.
Yeah,
when they ask him to sit in.
Maybe they were this was what they wanted to do and he was there or something.
Yeah.
That'd be
that's really
interesting
cool.
Question to get answered by him. How that played
and
out.
And it's one of the songs from Shinola. It's one of the tunes that winds up on Shinola. And I know that there's a lot of people who love that album.
There's 3 from Shinola this night.
3 from Shinola that were played. Yeah. And I know it's just a huge record because it's sort of like one of those albums of oddballs. And I mean, I just think everyone loves Shinola. And everyone keeps waiting for volume 2, which I don't know if it'll ever happen, but whatever.
Yeah, totally.
That's another conversation. But yeah, Rift is a great tune, and this is an amazing rendition because they really jam it out.
Yeah, dude, it's one of the few jams of the evening. Because remember, Ween's not a jam band, everybody. And dude, when you get the Reverend B. Ill up there, he's a guitar monster. So you got great twin lead guitar. So him and Diener, have played together, over the years so many times that they're just playing right off each other really well. So that's definitely was one of the great moments of the evening.
Yeah.
To see BL up there. What else we got? There's some great shout outs. The one I really love is Fat Lenny. This song, Diener's like, this song is for Johnny. It's called Fat Lenny. And Billy. Johnny and Billy.
Johnny
Lenny.
and Billy.
Johnny and Billy. And Lenny. They're just fucking, they're having so much fun.
Yeah, man.
Sucking the blood off the devil's dick is super rare. 29 times. And it's pretty ridiculous.
1, 2, 3. I am the Court Tavern, every time it exists. Your pussy's gonna fit in the rest of the way. Tina took a look and we shouted fit. You've been sucking off the blood from the devil's dick. Double dick, on the road, double dick.
Notable because it's rare, but,
Well, it's interesting. It's sort of it's one of the dick songs. And on the first night at the Borgata, you got Sucking the Blood on the Devil's Dick, and then the second night they had to complete the pairing. They got Put the Coke on My Dick.
Okay. Good call out.
There's a pretty sweet moment in Big Jim. They do a little Atlantic City, Atlantic City, what's the biggest old thing you ever did old scene? Big Jim.
Big Jim. For whatever reason, I love a night that has Fat Lenny and Big Jim. Why? I don't know why they go together in my mind, but they always do. It's like, that's just a great combo.
It's the characters, it's like,
yeah.
Ween has all these like cool characters. They like write songs about characters.
Right. It's Bob Dylan shit,
It's like one of their strategies. Yeah, totally. It's like Bob Dylan shit. We've talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make the people have tried to do it or have done it, like versions of it anyway, but like get the poster. Make a puzzle. Make a puzzle.
Yeah.
That, has all the different characters interacting. Make a movie. What's that Dylan movie? Oh, with John Goodman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, darn it. If I can't remember the name
Something like Fast and Notorious or something. It's like two...
Notorious B.I.G. No. Man, no, that was so good. That was wild is what that was, because it's like all the Dylan tunes are just sort of threaded into the movie. But do that with all the Ween characters. Anyhow.
Masked and Anonymous.
Nice. Good job, Masked and Anonymous. People go out and see Masked and Anonymous. It's a really kind of crazy cool movie. Little Shia LaBeouf.
I gotta watch that one again.
Yeah.
Because I do remember that as being really fucking cool.
Yeah, pretty wild and all out there. Well, another thing, part of the show, I think really big highlights for me, Laura.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty fucking awesome. This is another one, again, where I mentioned Aaron's really playing great guitar. Him and Dina are both jamming on Laura. And it's pretty epic. The outro, they're just jamming and jamming. They're just going for it. I think there's a point where even Aaron's halfway to the floor. He's like pulling like a Diener.
That's so great.
That's funny. And it's funny
so
because after the song, Diener's like, you can sit that down, dude. It's like Aaron's stealing his thunder. Why don't you go play the piano? That's what he says. He says, you can sit that down, dude. Why don't you go play the piano?
Why don't you go play the piano? Just go over there. Why don't you go outside, see what's going on? No ball. Why don't you go out to the road, see if there's any cars?
I'll go do that. I'll play the song first. What do you think, Glenn? You want? Yeah? You too?
Which is cool because then they go right into the Demon Sweat, which features Aaron on the piano.
Man, I mean, just talk about, Laura followed by Demon Sweat. Come on. I mean, fucking A.
Yeah, dude. Aaron's got the magic fingers.
Yeah, he says, my mama told me I had the magic fingers. Junior, you got the magic fingers.
When I was younger, my mama said, Gina, you got the magic fingers. I said, I know, Mama.
It's a great 1-2 punch in the middle of the show. Actually, a little bit toward the end of the show, I guess. But where Aaron gets a chance to shine. It seems like Diener is like constantly in everyone's face with these amazing solos and like shredding it left and right. And this is like a great 1-2 punch from Aaron because he's doing some great lead guitar solo work on Laura. And then he gets to go and play a little piano on Demon Sweat. Which
yeah, man.
is also, a rare tune. And so one of my faves. I hadn't heard that live. I've only heard it live twice. And the first time was back in Bend, Oregon in 2006.
Wow, dude.
Which is a great poster, by the way. A really cool poster with that monster. That like swamp monster
Okay,
guy.
yeah. Yeah, the big green monster.
Yeah. It's a cool poster, which I have, the poster. Thank you to you.
You're so welcome.
And I'll be talking about that poster soon in a special Patreon episode.
Nice.
When I can ever get off my butt and actually do it. Shout out to Patreon. Check out our Patreon. And they do a little boys club, which is pretty sweet. Diener proclaims we're going to play for like 6 hours, which is sort of ironic because at this point, I mean, they have been playing for a while, but they don't play for 6 hours.
Yeah, and the show is like almost over.
Yeah, and at this point, the show's like, it's like less than 3 hours in. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes in. And he's like, we're going to play for like 6 hours. And then like 20 minutes later, he's like, we're out.
And after Boys Club is over, he's like, yeah, you're going to be singing that tomorrow when you're on the beach with your friend sipping twisted tea. Just two guys hanging out. It's like...
Boys Club is great.
Yeah, Boys Club.
They barely do an encore. One song, and I was thinking about all the times they've only done one song for an encore.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the time just kind of got away from them or something, and it's just like, oh shit, like we just played for 2 hours and 45 minutes. You know what I mean? It just
yeah, dude. They definitely played long, and you're probably right about that. And they sort of felt like, well, we got to come back for something, because like, oh, right. God forbid you don't give them an encore,
Right.
The fans will eat you up. So they come back out and do a little Tender Situation, which is also another Aaron on the guitar, which is really sweet. He kind of has like a little bit of a creepy, ominous like farewell. He's like, see you tomorrow. At this point, I'm just like exhausted. I'm like, all right, time to go home.
Oh, that's great.
But Tender Situation is a beautiful tune. I mean, that's one of my faves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, beautiful song.
Yeah. So yeah, dude. I mean, that's basically like some highlights. It's a great show. It really is. I would say, I've already kind of mentioned some of these things. Like, there aren't a lot of commons played at this show. Like, it's all like either rare or uncommon songs. Like, it really is just, and so for a true fan, that's one of the things I like about the reunion. For like the true fan, you're really getting a lot of good stuff. And this show, I mean, I don't have every single set list memorized from the last like year or two, but this is a really fantastic set list.
Yeah, I know there was a few people that had mentioned, after the whole weekend was over, even including the show, which was before this one in Connecticut, of those like 3 in a row, that this night was sort of the standout. Which, I mean, all you have to do is read that set list. I mean, come on. There's just too many gems to deny it,
Yeah, dude, in 2 hours and 46, it's like an extra long. Like, it's definitely, to today's standards, like a long-ass show.
Right.
This show doesn't have a lot of jams. I count like Johnny on the Spot, Voodoo Lady, The Rift, and Laura are really the only songs that I can kind of think that like were really like jammed out. And you kind of mentioned the songs are a little bit out of order, sort of like where you would expect them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting when you think about, okay, they only did one song on the encore. And then look at the end of the regular set. You don't have like a signature jam at the end of the set.
Right.
Right? You got Tick, Boys Club, and Even If You Don't.
Right.
And then they come back out for a cool Tender Situation. But it's like normally you'd have a song that just gets like jammed. That's where you might see a Reggae Junkie Jew.
Right.
So yeah, so it's interesting that the show doesn't culminate into like a big jam out.
Right. Well, I think it's, I think it's definitely one of the things that we're seeing a lot more since they're back is more songs and not letting things go too long. Maybe one or two, 3 jams. When I say jams, I'm talking between 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's all, and like, it's probably better that way, especially if you're someone that's like a longtime fan, but only seen them live a handful of times, because it's like, okay, they're fitting in a lot more songs, and we keep continuing to see that since they're back.
Yeah. I wonder if some of it's strategic. Like, I don't think they really practice a lot. So they're really doing a little minimal rehearsal, and it's more or less the shows that they're playing. And you can kind of see that here and there, like with the lack of practice for some songs. Like, Hey There, Fancy Pants. And they like took a minute to like sort of figure it out. I think Aaron fucked up lyrics on Ocean Man, So you're not seeing, like, the other members of the band don't have as many opportunities to like do a solo. For example, like LMLYP, you get like, they all go around and do a little solo. Like you could have other songs where like it's the finale and they're all taking like a minute to do a little solo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something that happens so much anymore. And I wonder if they don't have the synergy. They don't have like that dynamic. They're not as dynamic because they're not playing together as much.
Right. I'm probably repeating myself here, but I feel like the shows since they're back, it's more like for the fans. You know what I mean? Whereas like, the shows that we always reference from back in the day, 99, 2000, 2001, it's like they were touring so much that I feel like it was sort of like half for the fans and half for the band. Like, let's just fucking jam this shit out. Let's let it go. Let's stretch it out. Let's just figure out what happens.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever happens.
More experimental.
Yeah, exactly. More experimental. And this is a good example of a show. Like I said, you got 35 songs total. And, this shit's pretty fucking tight. You know what I mean? Like, keep it tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there might be a couple of flubs here and there, but, we're not going to let things go too off the rails.
Yeah. One of the great things about this show is how they spread out where all the songs are coming from. I think Chocolate and Cheese only has 2 songs all night.
Yeah.
And that's usually like 5, 6, 7,
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
I put together my top 5 highlights.
Mm-hmm.
And so here are mine, and you can kind of add any of yours. Tell me what you think about this list. This is like the top 5. We got The Rift. Because you got Be Ill coming in on that. Super rare shit. When you got the Be Ill guitar monster coming in on something super rare, that's awesome. Sucking Blood from the Devil's Dick. I gotta throw that in there because that's just ridiculous. And also, again, really rare. Bumblebee. First time I ever heard that live. I do include that. And then I also, the other highlight is really Laura and then Into Demon Sweat. Because I feel like that little segment of the show, even though it's not like one song that doesn't like bleed into the next. They have a break. They take a little break in between it. But oh man, that's just, they were getting deep into the old school. Aaron was shining like a diamond in the rough. So anyway, that's my top 5 highlights for the evening.
Yeah, man. I would just say, if I was going to throw in one, I mean, I wasn't there, but, I'll Miss You would probably be it. That would be the only thing I would throw in there as far as, songs you don't hear too often and just a really beautiful song.
Totally. It's a nice tune. Yeah.
So that was night one of the Borgata.
Great show. Go out there and listen to it if you haven't. And let us know what you think.
Yeah, if you've got something you want to say, hit us up on fucking Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, whatever, you know what I mean? We'd love to hear your thoughts. If it was your first Ween show, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, dude. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and look forward to night two. Check in with us for night two, Borgata, coming soon.
All right, everybody. Peace.
Peace. Thanks.